Levia. Levia? Leviosa. It's Classic Constructed. Hi friends, welcome back to Nearly Sane Games. I'm Neil, and this is the Armory Report. Now, yesterday's Armory was Classic Constructed, and I took Mansant's Levia deck and brought it in for 3 rounds of Classic Constructed Madness. So let's take a look and see how we did. So my first round was against an Oldham player, and this was, well, things started to go south very quickly. First off, I was running a little bit late, trying to throw the deck back together, trying to get it updated. I was using Mansant's deck from Nationals, which I'll send a link in the description below so that you can go take a look at his video and see all the stuff that he did. But he made a few changes, and I was scrubbing to get my deck set up for that. So I was a little bit in a rush already, and I wasn't really that prepared. I wasn't in the right mindset for everything, so I started off on the wrong foot. I won the dice roll and decided to go first, which I probably should not have. And then I forgot everything about how to play Levia. And I started with immediately starting to gather blood debt. I wasn't ready for that. I didn't have my graveyard filled, and it was just, I'm going to start poking at it and see what happens. And this was an Oldham fatigue deck, which I really wasn't ready for. My strategy was just kind of off, so I stumbled to begin with, and then I was just off to the races from there, and constantly starting to build up blood debt, and in a panic trying to keep blood debt turned off. I ended up discarding a Beast Within and had an awful streak of, I think I took 6 from the Beast Within, just flipping over card after card after card that was not a 6 power. I lost a lot of cards that I probably could have used and built up a lot of blood debt very quickly. I used my Husk early. There was a turn that I swung my my Banish 3 card and banished 3 cards from my graveyard, and none of them were 6s. So I ended up taking 8 blood debt. It was really a very struggling game for me, and I was having a hard time all around. This was my fault. I was not thinking about what Levia needs to do and how to use her. You really need to fill up your graveyard to start with. I was doing most of the attacking. He was throwing Winter's Wail at me occasionally with the threat of a Frostbite. The Frostbite didn't really bother me that much. I brought out Blasphemet in the mid game because I'd gotten way too much blood debt, and I was hoping that I could keep him around to be able to turn off my blood debt more regularly. And you know, of course, he killed him the next turn, and then it was just a struggle. And I was getting in some chip damage, and I did eventually kind of catch up and was able to get in some bigger turns, but the damage was kind of even, and it just he was blocking a lot like Oldham does. And towards the end, I ended up drawing 2 energy potions. which don't block. And I ended up rolling on a naked scab skins. Didn't have my gambler's gloves available to me, and I managed to roll a 6. So I played both energy potions, sacrificed them both to make sure I had enough cards in my graveyard to play an attack. It was really kind of, I was just trying to stay alive pretty much the whole match. We went to time because Oldham, and I don't think either of us were. I think I might have been a little bit ahead. I think I had him down to maybe 9, and I was still at 11. But there's no winning this. He wasn't going to win this. I wasn't going to win this. I ended up passing the turn and taking 23 blood debt just to finish off the match with one of us winning. It's casual time, not that big of a deal, but still needed something there. So round 2, I ended up getting the bye. No game for me, sad. But at least I could take a look at my deck a little bit more and have time to catch up and figure out what I was going to do. This kind of put me in a 1-1 bracket, so all I was doing was hoping to avoid Briar, so I didn't have to worry about her. So my third and final round was against Briar, and man, this game was crazy and fast, and this time I was playing correctly. I worked to fill up my graveyard early, and I didn't build blood debt right away, and when I did start building blood debt, it was turbo go time, and I was swinging a lot of turns. I'm threatening 12 damage. I would try to block a minimal amount. I was using my equipment liberally. I was rolling on scab skins. I did manage to roll a 1 on scab skins, but I still had my gambler's gloves. Popped that, re-rolled, got a 4. So I had 2 attacks that turn. And brought out Blasphemet probably around the mid-game, and was able to rely on him. My opponent did not kill Blasphemet. I don't know why. It gave me very consistent hands, but I was still very cautious on what I was doing. I didn't take chances. I was starting to fill up my graveyard. I knew that I had a good amount of 6 power cards in there, but I did still have more than 3 or more misses in there. So I was still relying on Blasphemet a lot. I'd get Blood Rush Bellows turns, and I would use those to claws in for 5, and then swing for Blasphemet for 6, discarding or banishing a card, so I turn off Blood Debt very consistently, and that was very good for me. And despite the massive amount of damage that Briar could put out, I was putting on still a lot of pressure. I knew that Briar wasn't going to want to block a lot, so when I got Briar down to a low life total, it became a very bad spot for her. And her cards don't block very well if she's not getting all of the embodiment tokens. Even when she does get the embodiment tokens, doesn't necessarily block the best. It's designed to be damage output, so I was all damage output as well, and pretty consistently throwing 11 or 12 damage at her, and still having a couple cards left to block, which is insane. And you know, that's how it went. I think I was at, she was at 1, I was at 7, and Briar threw an attack at me that was going to be 5 damage, and no resources, no cards, so I took it, went down to 2, did a Blood Rush Bellows turn with Claws and Blasphemous, and that was enough. The player only drew 2 Ball Lightnings and some other things, wasn't able to block through enough of it, and I was able to get the win. Like, that felt like a game where Levia was just going full blast, and it was really, really cool. It was a lot of fun to play, throwing a lot of damage at my opponent, using all my equipment to block as much as possible. I think I was using a Skull Cap for that match, so I had a little bit extra block there, and it's just turbo go time, and let's throw 12 damage at my opponent every turn, and 12 damage is well above the curve. If you're looking for the average hero, I think the average hero is going to run, is going to average about 10 damage a turn. So if we can, any bit higher that we can get with that, it is going to be great. So the deck was firing well, and I was able to beat a Briar, which I was pretty happy with. So that was the Armory event for this week. I think next week is either Blitz or I think it's Commoner next week. So probably be playing my Oldhim deck, and we'll see how that goes. So until next time, I'm Neil, and this has been the Armory Report.